Actually, I'm doing India after tomorrow.
Oh.
Tomorrow. We're actually focusing on economic situation mainly.
So
because we should try to find out what went wrong, what we should do. Hello and welcome to another edition of Top Shot, the program in which we talk to personalities about the issues that concern you and me. So today we have a very interesting and a very distinguished guest with us, Mr. Mohommad Salim.
Hello.
A very good colleague in the parliament, and I always respect you for what you speak in the parliament and what you do outside the parliament. So tell me something, Mohommad, what do you think about the situation that is prevailing in India today, particularly when we are saying that government is saying that the total meltdown that is taking place in the world is not going to affect us, whereas the investors everywhere are running helter-skelter. The people have been suffering because they have been losing money in the market, but also not able to get anything from the market home for cooking. So this is a real dilemma for them.
It's a very difficult situation, both for the government as well as the people. And in a nutshell, I can tell you, now the Indian situation is a victim of global economy and local politics. What we are doing for the last 2 decades, we have integrated ourselves with the that US-led globalization, and we have slowly, even though we have some regulatory mechanism, that's thanks to left, because we are objecting, and we got isolated also in last 2 decades, as if everybody wants reform in second generation reforms, in economic sector, in financial sector, even in labor reforms, but left is opposing. And on the other hand, the same people who are talking about reforms and liberalization in economic sector, they were doing parochial politics, local politics. So that's why I said, you see, if you from Jammu Kashmir to Kerala, Kanyakumari, and from Assam, Manipur to Gujarat, you will find Maharashtra. What's happening these days is this local politics. So in a universal system, we have integrated our economy, and we are having this impact also. Though at the moment, if I go by the statement made by the Prime Minister, Honourable Prime Minister of the House, that in the short term we have some difficulties ahead, but medium term is we can survive. But if you go by Joseph Stiglitz, the former World Bank director, he is saying that
Nobel laureate also.
Nobel laureate also. So he himself saying that what the prescription of IMF, World Bank have gone somewhere wrong. And in fact, the traditional conventional system we have also destroyed, and we failed to give a new system in that case. So what's happening is this: you see, if the root of this economic crisis was that so-called subprime, and then the financial institutions, particularly the investment banks, failure, you'll see that it's just profiteering, predated profiteering, and then no accountability. Only accountability is to your shareholders, return per share. And then you just rules and regulations, instead of any regulatory system, you just free and leave it to the free market. So what happened is this: is not only the economic and financial sector, but you see the food sector also. So this forward trading. So you have plenty of money, you want more, so you make billionaire and millionaire. But how do you make it? So you push this into the market, and that money will chase the commodities. So you put your money in the oil sector, you put your money in the mineral resources, you put your money in the food, and then you pile it up. So you have food in this world, but you don't have food to consume for the even middle class, for example, the poor section. You have resources, energy, but it is all in like money, it is concentrated in few hands, and you jack the price. So the real estate also, you find that if you have money, you put your money, real estate developers are there, promoters are there, in our country also, in the rest of the country also, and then artificially there is a booming. And you put money not just to reside, but you put money as for the appreciation of the money, so that you put now few crores and tomorrow it's going to be more. So on the one hand, you have a lot of people who don't have shelter. On the other hand, you have a lot of buildings which is being made and bought just to push the money to the market. So in the return, to get the return. So it's an artificial thing, and in the economic times I read they say sometimes that casino economy. So casino capitalism. I know people know, you know also, I'm a Marxist, a leftist. But what's happening is this, is it a conservative capitalism at all? So the pro-liberal, this economy, and the neocon politics. What's happening is this: on the one hand, you have war, you have terrorism, you have communalism, you have fightings between ethnic fights all around, and on the other hand, the money is chasing not commodities, but more profit. Yeah. So where do you end up? Integrated it. So the crisis there in recession in America is going to be exported. So who are the countries ready to export it? The unemployment due to the recession is going to be exported. Yeah. Who are ready to import that? So the financial crisis. So what we are doing actually, if yours is an export-oriented economy, instead of you capitalize the situation and create your own domestic market and develop the demand. So it is not the development which we had. We had this 20% of people have got profit also, and we have billionaires now, millionaires now. But simultaneously, you have not created your own internal market. 47% of our children below 5 years of age are malnourished, severely malnourished. Cutting across states, you will find most of the tribal areas, poorer areas, backward areas. Secondly, you have mothers who are going to deliver. Pregnant mothers, 70% of them are suffering from anemia. Yeah. So what is the wealth is doing? Yeah. The wealth is there, but at whose hands? Yeah. And the system is allowing them to concentrate. And when you have crisis, you say bailout package. Yeah. So when you have made profit, so you denationalize, deregulate, privatize the profit. When there is losses, crisis, you nationalize it. So it's a privatization of profits and nationalization of losses. So ultimately nation is at loss.
But you know, for a long time you must have heard a criticism from 1991 till today that communists are trying to create roadblocks. They are the ones who are obstructionists. They are the ones who are not totally aloof from what's happening in the world, or totally bereft of what's happening in the world, and therefore they are totally out of tune with the reality of today's world. And now suddenly, do you think that rest of the world is started saying that, oh, you are right, actually, we wish we had heard you. Do you think some such talks you are hearing nowadays?
No, what happened is in the early 90s and late 80s, there was advantage with the Soviet bloc disintegrated, socialism in Soviet Union itself collapsed. So people say the demise of socialism. Socialism became the most nasty word, vulgar word. And on the other hand, the Western world, particularly advanced capitalist country, led by US, got some advantage, economic advantage. So you push reforms throughout the world, ask the Asian, African, Latin American countries that you follow this prescription, which is going to consolidate their own economic gain for a longer period. So objected that. Yeah. And what this economic advantage, they tried to convert it into a political advantage. So regime change, system change, diplomatic advantage. And when they failed that, so they took this military recourse and to make it permanent. So the advantage they got from the political advantage from the demise of the Soviet Union, the diplomatic advantage America and US imperialism got through this 9/11 and all terrorist attacks, sympathy they got, diplomatic, tremendous amount. So what Bush administration did, the disservice to US, so that advantage they wanted to make it permanent for a longer period through military intervention. So Iraq and Afghanistan war was there, strategic relation like we are doing with India. So make it permanent. It's not a solution. So to make this problem for a longer period and try to export their own crisis. So their diplomatic crisis, they are exporting. Their threat to terrorism, they are exporting. Their recession, they are exporting. Now there are some willing exporters, importers. Latin America is not. Latin America, there is no socialism now, but you know that. Yeah. So even though after 90s, the Latin American countries, one Cuba was there, and now the whole bloc, in the courtyard of the United States, they wanted to resist that. It's a resistance is a pressure, creating a pressure combined collectively and strike a collective bargain that whatever you wish, Washington consensus is there, you can't implement that. You can't impose on us. But Asian circumstances, you see in the Middle East, so-called Middle East, West Asia, you divided house. So whatever US-UK combination wanted, they did it. With the willing collaborators like GCC, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and now they're doing it. But Africa, still there is some resistance. Yeah. We are not giving information, but there's a huge angst there. And Southeast Asia, you cannot enter. They have their own strength also now. So South Asia is a place. And South Asia, we have willing collaborators, be it in Bangladesh, Pakistan, even in India, unfortunately. So what I am telling is this: when you say communists are just putting red flags, roadblocks, all these speed breakers. So what actually is this communist in this world? Communism means, Marxist means you are a pro-changer. The conservative used to be no changer. The radicals or liberals, these words have changed. Americans have changed. Yeah. Now radicals are more fundamentalist. Yeah. Earlier it used to be radicals means you were pro-changers. Yeah. So Inqilab Zindabad, when we say long live the revolution, that means we want change from top to bottom. So we are not against change. Whatever you say, this you can reform also. But leading towards what? Aiming for what? Where we stand and where we intend to go. Who is going to be benefited? Who are the targets? So that is what, when we put this question, to make it short, particularly media, they said, oh, these people, they don't want change. Because the changes we suggest is going to harm your profit, or it is not going to help you to aspire for billionaire overnight. And this, in Hindi, is a satoria, the classical capitalism. You put some money, you earn huge. So when you put, say some regulatory systems will be there, they objected. Now the same people are saying, Iceland, bank is going to be nationalized. UK, public money is going to be invested. In America, the US Congress is passing 700 billion this bailout
nationalization also.
Yes, sir. So in 90s it was deregulation, denotification, denationalization. What they are doing now? Nationalization, more regulation, stringent measures. In America, the most crisis is because they have completely deregularized their financial system. And all those countries who suffered most, those who have deregularized. We could withhold some pressure because still some sort of regulatory regulation is there.
Yeah. You know, you just mentioned that you are also for change. And your definition of change and your slogan is Inqilab Zindabad. That means you are saying that we want a complete change.
Yes.
A total revolution.
Yes.
Which Jayaprakash Narayan called total revolution, you called Inqilab Zindabad. So different language, but nomenclature may be different. But you want a total change. Those who are promoting market economy, wanted to move away from state control economy to market economy, was also talking about change, and they called it reform. So there were different names, but of course different programs and completely different approach. So why not you now, in this context, when now everybody is going to waiting for a new prescription to solve the world problem and that for India's problem also, do you think you can actually come out with a prescription in which this Inqilab Zindabad from slogan to a program, can it be converted wherein we can say we have this solution for, say, power sector. This is a solution for agriculture. This is a solution for market economy. This is a solution for capital market also. Because you need capital market, because otherwise how do you get the savings of people into productive wing? Do you think you can think about a prescriptive, programmatic approach towards today's problems?
It's good that you have pointed out this, and this is what we are all trying to do it in our own capacity as a national level and international level also. What the Venezuela is doing, what the Brazil is doing, you need not be a Marxist for that.
Yeah.
So first you work out your national priority. Right. In this ladder of the development ladder, all nations are not at the same plane.
Yeah.
Various countries, if you go from the Human Development Index, you go from the Economic Index, at different stage. So same prescription is not going to work out. Then you have own national priority as well as own national heritage and culture, your own resources. So what I say for India, and you will also agree that you say, so our priority is first, I think, you ensure fuel security. In the morning, the mother woke up, after waking up, she says how to cook food. Yeah. So kerosene, wood, or cow dung, or coal, what is piped gas line? So that's the fuel. So in a country of 112 crores, the first priority is fuel, that is energy security in all form. Yeah. Then if your energy is there, what to cook? What is there in the vessel? Exactly. So your food security. So second priority in a country of more than 100 crores, and where 70% of people live with 25 rupees a day, so your food security. Then third comes your social security. Yeah. When you are not well, you are the poorest of the poor, you are handicapped, you are backward, you are retired, you are no more you are going to work. So social security system. And then fourth is your internal security. peace should be there. It's not that what is happening in Kandhamal, what is happening in Maharashtra today, Mumbai, what is happening in Assam, in Adilabad, in Andhra Pradesh, and then series of blasts and all. So this 4 priority you work out. I don't think any other political parties will have any reservation on this. Now the question is how to work out. So first coming for the fuel, fuel. So first is energy security. What was the argument? All this in the US nuclear deal and everything, power sector reform has all come. What we want is you ensure your energy security. That means self-reliance on your energy. You should not be dependent to others. It's not your independency. Now you have interdependent world. You have to import fuel. You can't produce everything. But fuel or energy policy in any country should be based on what is their national resources are. If you don't have uranium, you don't put too much in your nuclear deal. You have coal, so it should be coal-based, clean energy, cleaner than that. If you don't have oil fields, you explore on the one hand and you go of the world, buy it. Manisankar had tried with Asian countries, China, Iran, Russia, Venezuela, Latin American, but he was shunted out.
Sudan also.
He was just shunted out. Unceremoniously was, why? On the one hand you say you are energy starved, on the other hand you require it, but you don't go for that. Then you long-term engagements with the countries which are energy rich, so that we can have stable supply. But if we put our investment there, it's a long-term investment, and that better relation will be developed. They will be dependent on us. We will share energy through them. We will also buy it.
We'll have good relations with neighbors also because it's economic independence.
Interdependence will interlock us for a longer period. Secondly, that food security also.
Can I just interrupt you? Because you said about a very important point. In fact, and you mentioned it first, so I'm very glad that that's the foundation of the whole thing, the energy security. You know, you mentioned, and I fully agree with you, that unless the source of fuel on which the energy is going to be generated is available locally, it can't be really secured energy. Even if you secure oil fields overseas, still there is a supply line problem. It's absolute. So what do you think in that? India gets about 300 days of good sunshine. And in fact, the solar energy is something which can benefit us. In fact, I always believed that we are the first country in the world to have made an independent ministry for renewable energy. But we stopped there because we thought creating ministry was the object to itself. We didn't do anything thereafter. So you think solar energy is something we should start to work on?
Renewable energy, I said, whatever, this is for long term. So we have this. This is not Europe. So, and this Surya Dev, we just worship.
That's it.
But it's blessed. We should be blessed by this. And I think solar energy and wind energy, even from the waves you can make it. But solar energy is first. And I'm coming from West Bengal. I think you know that the remotest island areas, it was benefited with the solar energy. In my constituency also, in our parts also, we are utilizing the solar energy and many places. And we are one of the, but whole countries should have a priority.
That's right.
And then government, because initial cost is there, so you have to be, the public investment should be there.
And if you can make research and development,
of course,
we invest money into that.
And then the cost will come down.
Absolutely, because scaling up. Because if you use the huge scale of operation,
new technology and the scale of economy will push this cost.
So you think now it's a good time to launch a major renewable energy development program?
Last 2 years, the government have lost its energy for this in the US nuclear deal. Unfortunately, for hydroelectricity and solar energy, we have not done well, and we should do it. And that will solve both. It's ecologically also it's very good for us.
Because of climate change, there is a big problem, and so
global
non-fossil fuel energy will be useful.
So this is what this is the area.
So you're talking about food security, the second
priority. For food security also, that what we are doing over the years, that in the name of high tech and other things, our own crop diversity is necessary, but based on our own climate, our own food habits, our own requirements. You see that our food grains production over the years, the productivity compared to the China.
Absolutely.
So this is what our necessary.
China produces 450 million tons on an area less than that of India's. So
in that case, even per acre productivity, if you say in production, you see. So this is where our whole research should be there. Instead of that, what we are saying is this Indo-US more collaborative research in this. So what is their requirements? We are ready to do that. Of course, we have to learn from their experience, but we have to learn from Vietnamese experience. We have to learn from Chinese experience, and India can lead in South Asia. We have this manpower, we have these resources.
So food security is your next priority. I think we'll continue with this dialogue. We'll just take a short break, and we don't go away. We are talking to Mr. Mohommad Salim, a member of parliament in Lok Sabha, deputy leader of CPM in parliament, and he is talking to us about what should be done to deal with the present crisis. So don't go away, we'll come back soon. This is Suresh Prabhu waiting for you to come back.
Wrong time.
Mr. Mohommad Salim, a member of parliament in Lok Sabha, deputy leader of CPM in parliament, and he is talking to us about what should be done to deal with the present crisis. So don't go away, we'll come back soon. This is Suresh Prabhu waiting for you to come back. The program in which we are talking to Mr. Mohommad Salim, a member of parliament from West Bengal belonging to CPM and also the deputy leader of that party in the parliament. So, Mohommad, we are talking about very interesting issue. You are talking about food security, and you are saying that CPM as a party or a communist as a bloc, the left as a bloc, would also like to make sure that along with fuel security, energy security, we like to work on food security, the next building block for overall security of the country. Which you think is the third important priority for you?
Just coming before the third, I said, you see, when the left came to power in Tripura, Bengal and Kerala, this is what was the priority. This was the first time saying. So land reform, Operation Barga, distribution of land, helping these farmers, small farmers to grow, increase their productivity, food for work, then mini kits, good seeds to be produced and distributed, small irrigation. All these things were aimed at this food security. But whole countries will have this priority, and we have increased our productivity.
Can you say today that West Bengal, everybody has a food security?
No, because we are not self-sufficient in so many things, because the pressure on land and the population-wise is the highest. Till last census it was Kerala, but now from this census it is Bengal. In rest of the country it is 300 plus per square kilometer. In West Bengal it is 923, thrice. So the pressure on land, and because of partition, the huge land mass went to the East Pakistan and now in Bangladesh, and population migrated to this side. So that pressure is there. But rice.
But your focus was on that.
Rice. So not with the begging bowl we are moving. But still pulses, oil seeds, that we don't have.
You mentioned land.
Wheat also.
And if you can, can we focus on this issue? Because recently you had a big problem in West Bengal when you were trying to use part of the agricultural land for industrialization. And you just mentioned a very important point which we normally focus on, that land is a very limited factor. You can't extend the land with the increase in population. And we have only 2.2% of the land of the world and almost 16-17% of population. In some state, the pressure is more where the density is high, some state is less. But still, overall, as a country, we have a huge problem. So do you think in the planning process, over a period of time, we have missed opportunity and lost sight of, and most important issue, how to do planning around land and water? Do you think we have done that?
We have not attended, this issue was not attended. Otherwise, still we are continuing with the 1894 Land Acquisition Act. So in the post-independence period, we have not focused. Now, since you require mega projects, so huge land mass you require, and that's why this problem is not West Bengal's problem alone, it's Maharashtra and Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, everywhere, Haryana, Delhi, UP, these problems are coming up, Odisha. So now what is this a national issue? So you require industrialization and urbanization. So for infrastructure also, and it can't be built in the vacuum. But you have people depending solely on land, and then emotive relation also, and economic relation also. And because of backwardness and lack of education and modern technology, they don't know any other things. So solely they're depending on this. So the transition period, you have to address to their compensation, rehabilitation and alternative livelihood. So this is a big national issue, whether it is Singur or Nandigram or Raigad or even Andhra Pradesh or Kalinganagar or Haryana, UP, Haryana. The issue is same. So in West Bengal, what we are saying is 1% of the agricultural land will be required in the coming days for the social infrastructure, physical infrastructure, for roads, railway tracks, urbanization and industrialization. So 1%.
So overall, over the state only 1%.
The government decided 1%.
So diversion of agricultural land to non-agriculture purpose only 1%.
Not more than 1%. That there's a consensus that we decided. Okay. Because you can't go for the forest lands. And you will appreciate that for the last 3 years, throughout the country when the forest land is depleted, in West Bengal it is increased, forest cover. So you can't touch that. And we have wasteland also, that you can't touch. So only place is that, and you don't have that arid land too much. Already that industrialization is taking place in those places, west of West Bengal, which is near to Jharkhand. But then you have to go to other places also, near to Calcutta also, big industrial projects they want to come to. And River Ganga is there, so it's a fertile track of land also. And big government is, say PCPI they will build, but government of India make a policy that it requires 250 square kilometer of area. So that means it will be only in Gujarat and nowhere else. Or Rajasthan and nowhere else. And you will require coastal land also, because access, port access, all these factors are there. But this is a national priority, and there should be a balance. But I was talking about the social security. So it's part of this also. The 70% or 65% people depending on agriculture, and which is physical, totally not mechanized, not so mechanized. And then when you are no more in a position to go to the farmland and work, so what is their social security? You don't have your agriculture worker, your poor peasant, your daily wage earner, people engaged in informal sector, self-employed people but earning a little more, they don't have any social security.
So this is the target group, you think, who are not getting any benefit out of dearness allowance. When the prices go up, whatever the income is, they lose the income. Unlike the government employees or others who get actually at least get a dearness allowance, so that the effect of price rise gets neutralized.
In this era of shopping mall,
they get nothing. But in this section, when you talk about social security, has many connotations. What exactly you mean by social security for this sector? How do you think they should be protected? In what form?
The government should reform mechanism where through their own earning and government's exchequer also. In any case, government is putting a lot of money, but it should reach to the targeted group. When Jet Airways, Vijay Mallya and Mr. Narendra Goyal say that we are in crisis, immediately Mr. Prabhu Patel as Civilization Minister jump in and government should bail out. But the agriculturists are in crisis for long. Now loan waiver thing came, but loan waiver is not a social security means. You are just replenishing the amounts of the banks which they are not supposed to recover from the agriculturists. This is not. What I am saying is this, that people should feel that, and then that they will not be greedy in that case also. That yes, there is some scheme in place which will take care of if I lose job, if I am not able to get job, if I am not in a position to work, if I am tomorrow handicapped, if something happens to me, my family will not be just starving, they will have some arrangements. And this is what, it cannot be taken care of by the private sector. You see more and more casualization, more and more informal sector, more and more non-formal sector is growing, and if government goes for public sector investment is their steel company, then you have a township, playground, school, education, all other social things are there. But when private companies come, they don't. When a private companies run the buses, you don't have a urinal also in the bus stop. But if a public sector bus is there, then you have every facilities at bus depot properly. And here they will not even have a parking space, they will just park it on the roads. So this is what the government intervention is required to make this world more livable.
No, but that point I think has been accepted by everybody now, that without state no one can survive. For a long time we thought. In fact, I was talking to one of the leaders in the private sector some time ago in this program, and he said that even policing can be done by the private sector. So I was saying, you think the pendulum can swing to that level? But now fortunately that realization
what happened
is
in the United States and in England and in Europe, it was the inefficiency of the government sector, which the people suffer a lot, and the good management system in some of the private sectors. So people thought, why don't you hand over the cleaning work, the garbage, this conservancy, because